NASA is puzzling. Is there another planet that has not been discovered in the universe? It is crucial to believe calculations from a scientist of the USA. As such, it is agreed that the planet X exists. The ever-increasing number of other giant planets that will be discovered even far beyond Neptune will one day probably alter the destiny of our own home planet, the Earth. What is the narrative of the planet X, and is the ninth planet equivalent to the horror planet Nibiru? The idea is Planet X, or Planet 9, may be an extremely large new planet that is outside the solar system and billions of kilometers farther than Neptune. This last great undiscovered planet revolves around the Sun. There is no need to call planet 9 small, since it is thought to be 5 to 10 times the mass of Earth and rife with plenty of substance. With greater mass, it would be nearly Neptune in size and the largest massive planet in the system. The causes for adopting its existence are perturbations experienced in the outer layers of the system from the Sun's gravity. The only way to account for the other large-bodied moving in outer Kuiper Belt region is another large hidden object. Several of these minor planets exhibit such bizarre orbital patterns that only a body of immense proportion can be attributed to them. But why? Haven't we seen Planet 9 yet? That is because there is a reason for this, really simple to explain. It takes Planet 9 millions of kilometers beyond Neptune to orbit around the center of the Milky Way, and that makes us not to see it with our naked eyes or telescopes. This planet is in complete Pythy. Moreover, orbital mathematics indicate that Planet 9 has an orbit that is so elongated that it may at times lie outside the borders of the solar system. It is believed that Planet 9 is composed of relatively low albedo, which means that it is even darker than most celestial objects in the universe. Historical evidence for the existence of other planets. Isn't it sounding too crazy now? They should be another planet which should only be confirmed by its effect on other objects in the form of orbital anomalies. Even today, who can argue that giants such as Pluto, Uranus, and Neptune were discovered this way before people got a chance to actually see them through some superpowered binoculars? The scholars could guess about their existence only by analyzing the orbital characteristics of already discovered planets. In other words, if a planet such as Uranus stutters a little, then any conclusions which are made about another planet might be made on the fact that it is this other planet which is making the planet wobble. That can quite easily be explained in terms of gravitational forces. Planets are related in one way, four-way, or two and four depending on the space-time and gravity. When one is involved, the others are as well. Intro. All the movements of the planets within our solar system are easy to comprehend as a balance or a track of interaction with mutual calculations. Therefore, the existence of some of them could only be calculated before they were confirmed to exist. Singers like the Frenchman Urbain Le Verrier were thus able to determine the precise location of planets and planets better and better. Then, hoisting their later and improved instruments on these supposed places, the researchers often got their computation correct. In 1859, using predictions of the Le Verrier, one was able to establish that Mercury's orbit deviated, a sign that there was another planet out there. It therefore gave rises to the theory of another planet between the Sun and Venus. A planet, which was to be named Vulcan, was never discovered. About that time, at the beginning of the 20th century, Albert Einstein was able to explain the anomalies in a different manner. This was an exception. Le Verrier may have been right all along. In such a way, the researcher has found Neptune in 1846. A little less than 100 years later, a man named Clyde Tombaugh, using photographic plates, discovered what was then the ninth planet. He employed something known as blink comparator, in which one looked at two plates that had taken pictures of the same part of the sky at separate times. By orientating the plates in a sequence, the respective scientists were able to deduce the movement of Pluto. For about 20 to 30 years before Tombaugh had been known that Pluto must exist. However, scientists looked for a new planet in vain. Now we are again searching for Planet 9. All this sometimes causes confusion because Pluto was downgraded to a dwarf planet by the International Astronomical Union in 2006. It is no longer seen in the list of the main planets in the Solar System, and the place of Planet 9 is empty once again. Trans-Neptunian objects start with Pluto and various objects outside Neptune, introducing a mysterious period. In any case, Pluto already orbits together with the Kuiper Belt mostly, and with it several other minor planets. About 10 other minor planets have been discovered which ignited debate over planetary status. They believe there could be as many as 30 others. Thousands of objects within the Kuiper Belt alone, should all of them be listed in the Solar System? The Association of Astronomers said, no, they did, and changed it. And I am now going to tell you what is a planet. This one was rejected because up until now, Pluto's orbit is not fully cleared. This means that it is in an orbit the same as other objects. Many small objects are also located in the Kuiper Belt, and all of these bodies are described as trans-Neptunian objects, TNOs, in shorter terms. These include not only the 4 minor planets, namely Eris, Haumea, Makemake, and over 2,000 other icy and rocky, much smaller and also misshapen bodies. These objects are so distant from the Sun that it takes them thousands of years to move once round the Sun. Geographically, 5 moons that orbit the dwarf planet known as Pluto are also considered TNOs in a strictly technical sense. Since NASA's New Horizons mission, the largest of the Moon has been a subject of confusion because of its name, Charon. This moon is so massive in relation to Pluto that the two are even often considered a system. If Charon is yet another planet, and not a natural satellite of all at that, the deck in the Solar System is reshuffled. The details about these celestial objects became much clearer when New Horizons came back from a flyby in 2015 with the first real pictures of Pluto, its moon Charon, and the mysterious TNO Arrokoth. However, instead of getting the real solutions, the results most of the time resulted in increase in confusion. In particular, it is explosive, the strange accumulation of the orbits of TNOs. Some other American scientists were able to support their theory that the irregularities can only be conclusively solved for the existence of a new massive planet. Since 2016, people have talked again about the existence of the 9 planets in the Solar System. The researcher who is most certain of this is Dr. Mike Brown, an expert in Kuiper Belt that spent a significant portion of his work hunting for Planet 9. Where is Planet 9 hiding? Well, into today's revelation of modern technology, locating Planet 9 still poses a significant challenge. Due to this fact and the fact that Hera is so far and so dark, only the new generation of telescopes can find this lost world. Needless to say that every day researchers are engaged in the search process, but for the time being, the result is 0. Until there is a direct observation of the planet, then all that astronomers have is the estimate of where the hypothetical plane 9 may be. When a new hot lead is detected, observers turn the dishes in that direction, and the search starts. Finding out exceedingly remote locations within the cosmos is a feat. The telescopes sweep across the identified regions of the sky quadrant by quadrant, and even with modern instruments, researchers can never be sure whether those locations may harbor Planet 9 that we cannot observe. That everyone revolves in orbits that are ovals around the solar. Orbital elements including the semi-majors axis, the eccentricity, and even the inclination of the orbit positions a planet at an indicated time. Equations of mechanics of Newton provide a method of finding the position of a planet at a particular time instant, provided initial data in terms of position, velocity, and the force of gravitation. Some scientists exclude that the position of Planet 9 is calculated using mathematical models and computer simulations that try to explain the movement of celestial bodies based on the TNO's orbital anomalies. However, until science comes out to announce that they have found the accurate Planet 9, The search continues. Is it the case that Planet 9 will bring about the end of the Earth? In the corresponding media on the Internet, there is the concept that Planet 9 can sweep along and destroy the Earth. Some of these ideas are derived from the theory about Nibiru, the planet which is described in secret hypotheses as a menace to the Earth. A concept like this is actually completely banned and laughed at by scientists today, or at least it should be. But there are some scholars, worthy researchers, who say that they have seen references for a world like this in Sumerian texts. It is believed to approach this planet once in 10,000 years and then create havoc. Still, quite surprisingly, if there is the so-called Planet 9, it takes about 10,000 years to orbit the star, and even if this planet will appear sometime in the future, it will not approach Earth either. But this could be a misunderstanding derived from the weakness in translating old texts. Moving about the orbits and passing to the interior of the solar system is a hypothetical Planet 9. It may not get sufficiently near to be discernible, much less distinguishable with the blink of an eye from the surface of the Earth, but get near. Could. The Sumerians have been aware of a planet that is invisible to the naked eye, and even to the most advanced technology in Marat Illustris, Hughes, Oppenheimer, Sodunso 9p. As some of the other researchers may suggest, this is absolutely true. Historically, the Sumerians left several standard tablets depicting approximately between 8 to 9 planet bodies. It is very important to note earlier researchers were only able to observe as far as Saturn due to the lack of advanced technology in terms of telescope. Had the Sumerians known about 8 or 9 planets, as is theorized by some researchers, they might have possessed other skills to explain the solar system, or they might have had relations with alien beings, as is frequently believed. It is, however, crucial to point the argument that the Sumerians could see planets through clairvoyance or paranormal powers is not as absurd as people would love to make it seem. Swan, in the 1960s, using the American medium, was able to scan the planet Jupiter and offer incredible information. If these theories are correct and the appearance of Planet 9 really does have something to do with Nibiru, we might wish for it to remain unknown to man.